This video and just sort of be brief. I know I'm going to get hate because Mort's like this almost righteous figure where he can't be wrong, and with his background in that, where he's a quote therapist and whatever else. I mean, I do give him kudos for talking about some of this stuff, how it is like an addiction and people are buying into this stuff and have FOMO and hype, but he's not talking about how himself and others are to blame. He just wants to focus on like certain aspects, and he can't call out people because of course with the circle he's in, it's going to ruin his channel and ruin his reputation. Because all these guys, including Mort himself, are doing these full sets once again, where they got to have the full set or they're not going to be, well, there goes this, they're going to have the full set or they're not going to be satisfied, they're not going to be justified. And then they say, well, there's nothing wrong with it because I made a bunch of friends along the way. So you spent like 50 grand on a 64 complete box full set to make friends? Like, I can go to one of these conventions. Do I have to pay money to talk to you or spend $1,500 to associate and socialize with people? No. I can make friends without buying all these video games. But that's sort of how they justify and cope buying all this stuff. Well, I made all these friends and the journey. It's like, I'm making friends in various communities talking about games, and it don't cost me anything. Maybe my time talking to them and chatting with them. Like, see, that's another cop-out, like a copium of why they got to buy all this stuff. And it's like, you know, I've watched these other guys, and it just made me realize, and I'm really grateful for it, their bad influence ended up being a good influence on me, where I just stopped buying all this shit. I'm done. And another trick is they never talk about emulation. They never say, hey, go try these games out, enjoy them, play them, they're free. They always got to like beat around the bush how emulation's illegal and you need to buy this stuff because you're preserving it. It's this weird like beating around the bush method they use. Because like, these are games. What do you do with games? You play them. A lot of people get a flash card, drink a few beers with their buddies, and they play these games. Whoever thought would be like, oh, I can't have my friends come over and play these games on ROMs or emulator. They're going to think less of me if I don't have all these games on my shelf. That's never been said before. But that's how some of these people justify, oh, I got to have all this shit on my shelves in a room just packed full of all this shit so I can have the status and I can be recognized. But Mort over here, he won't talk about that. He had a therapist on. The therapist said, oh, this is okay as long as you're doing this. It's okay if you're doing this. It's okay if you're doing this, not that. But when I hear these patterns of saying I can control it and I'm not hurting anybody and, oh, well, I made friends in this, and then you look at it and it's like a meme. You spent 50 grand to get a full N64 set, and now you're talking about all this stuff. Let's see if we can find it real quick. He's talking about all this stuff while standing in front of it. And he even makes a quote where he's like, whoa, I'm standing in front of this, how can I say all this stuff? Well, there it is. And that's it with these tubers. All of them say, if you want to be somebody, you got to have all this crap behind you in your videos and to be a YouTuber, and you need to buy all this stuff. And that's just like the message they've been hammering home over and over when they make these videos and talk, and their collecting methods. And people have told me, well, what are you supposed to do? You collect video games, what are you supposed to do? I don't know. You could be outside walking and talking, you could be driving, you could be sitting at a table. You could do, I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a wall of stuff behind you, but it's just every video it's in there. And that's just a message that hammers home. So how many YouTubers do you see where they're not encased with all their stuff behind them, standing and talking to the camera? Very few. So I just wanted to get that out there. I don't have any personal hatred for this guy, but it's like you got to realize and sort of call it what it is. You know, I'm almost speechless, like listening to some of the stuff he says, but he won't call out like the red herring or the elephant in the room when it comes to this stuff.